Recently, I was up at 3 a.m. looking through various YouTube videos, and one of them that I landed on was talking about Forgetful Fish, which uses a very old and very bad version of a Magic the Gathering card, Dan, to turn it into something that is actually pretty fun. So I decided to use that strategy and use it with the worst Yu-Gi-Oh card ever made, Swordsman from a Distant Land. This is a card that if it attacks a monster after the damage calculation, that monster is destroyed during the 5th end phase after the attack. It's slow, it's weak, and it's stupid, but I love it, so I turned it into a deck. So first you have the ability to reduce your opponent's life points down to 0. That's the typical game that we usually play. However, Retired Samurai also has the deck out mechanic. Cards can be shuffled back into the deck. You can manipulate the size of the deck, stuff like that. The third option that you have is that there are various cards that are themselves games. And I have packed the deck with as many of those as I could find. Finally, we have a burn strategy. And we have all 4 of these kind of working together to make the Retired Samurai deck. So there is one 80-card deck if you want to do this in person, which is what I recommend. However, if you're doing this online or with one of the free, Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG players that we have, you can make it with 2 60-card decks. I would caution a little bit that this list that I'm about to show is specific with the you share a deck and a graveyard, and that makes a lot of the bad cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit better and a little bit more fun. Also, just use Zone Eater if you want to do it online, because I'm not going to pay like $5 for the second worst Yu-Gi-Oh card ever printed. So be careful of interesting rulings like this. Everybody was making fun of me, but yeah, it's because I was up at 3 a.m. thinking about Dan and realized, hey, this doesn't really work. It can if you have like a automatic sim, so it doesn't really matter because the sim itself can tell which card is which. You just won't know until it comes up. Okay, so let's go into the list. Remember, this is 80 cards and they're all going to be in one deck. So we have 17 monsters. First off, the man of the hour, Swordsman from a Distant Land. 250 attack, 250 defense. You're going to play 7. Next, we have Steel Scorpion, which at first glance you think, hey, this is like a better version of Swordsman from a Distant Land. However, this one has to be attacked first. It can attack and have the effect. So it is immune to itself, and also it has 300 defense, so if a Swordsman from a Distant Land attacks it, it can survive and also kill the Swordsman after there has been the second end phase of your opponent's turn. You're going to play 3. Next, we have Needleworm. This goes into the deck out strategy of the deck. This is also going to be the most powerful monster that we play at 750 attack and 600 defense. You can use its effect to set it and then have it flip face up to mill cards out of the deck, or you can just use it as a beat stick. We're going to play 4 of these. And finally, Parasite Paracide. It is kind of mid-range. It has enough defense to survive an attack from a Swordsman from a Distant Land, but it does not have enough to survive a Needleworm. And remember, if this card gets destroyed, it doesn't get shuffled into the deck. It just goes to the graveyard. And also it's 500 attacks, so it can, kill the Steel Scorpions and the Swordsman. You're going to play 3. Okay, next, we're going to play 30 spells. Okay, so first off, we have Slash Draw. This is your Swordsman, your retired Swordsman. It's his last hurrah. He has one final all-encompassing attack within him that he can usually use to go ahead and KO an opponent. It's really funny when this comes up, so you're going to play 4. Next, we have Pot of Benevolence. This is essentially just a way to target cards and shuffle them back into the deck to try to edit and change around some of the cards that you have available to you. Pot of Dichotomy is your essentially only way to draw in the deck, at least normally, like your normal pot card. It also shuffles things back. You have to use it to start your main phase 1, and then this card is banished, so it doesn't get to be reused like everything else can. Dispel. This is going to be your out to anything that is a very annoying continuous spell. Also, you can see what a set card is, so it's pretty nice. Finally, Book of Eclipse. Again, a little bit of defense for you, and you can flip things face up on your opponent's side to go ahead and have them draw cards. And you can also reset your flip monsters if you have any of them. All these, you're running at 3. Next, Gift Exchange, which is one of the games in the deck. Yaminabe Party, Tilted Try, and Goddess Skuld's Oracle. The first 3 are kind of the games. Goddess Skuld's Oracle kind of plays in here. It gives you the ability to change the top of the deck. So if you're trying to give your opponent one of the Parasite Paracide, you can do that. Or one of the trap cards will come out later. You can also use that. And a lot of the cards are look at the top or use the top of the deck or shuffle the deck and then use what's on top. And they can kind of use that to help you draw or help the effects go off. Jade Insect Whistle. You have 2 insects. Your opponent gets to decide. It puts it on the top of the deck. It can be yours, or you can then use a Goddess Skuld's Oracle to put that somewhere else and make it what they're going to draw. Remove Trap. Again, it's just for those face-up continuous trap cards that you want to get rid of. And Final Destiny, this is one of the bombs of the deck. You have to discard 5 cards from your hand, but you get to wipe the entire field. All of these are going to play at 2. So each of these trap cards, you're going to run at 3. Kingyo Sukui. If you manipulate this, like with Goddess Skuld's Oracle over there, that, use this card, then you can have the effects go off a lot better. And it's pretty interesting and fun. And it sticks around until you basically fail. Next, Hatsugai. This is really fun. You can excavate the top 5 cards of the deck. And then you and your opponent kind of go back and forth. And you basically get the bid on it. It's like, hey, what if I did this? Or hey, what if you did that? You bid in multiples of 100. Minimum is 100 life points. Maximum is 3,000 life points. But it's a way to get a card that you might need. 7 tools of the Bandit, pretty straightforward, 1,000 life points to negate, and is a counter trap. All these other traps are going to be run at 2. So we got the Fukubiki. This is again one of the games. Mamemaki. This is a way that you can target a card and basically, send it back to your opponent's hand and draw. So yeah, it's pretty good. Onikuji. Also a really fun one, so it's one of the other games that you have. Matching outfits, reveal the top card, and then if they're same, both of you get to keep it. Pretty straightforward. Conscription. Look at the top of your card of your opponent's deck. If it is a monster that can be normal summoned, special summon it to your side of the field. Otherwise, add that card to your opponent's hand. Again, pretty straightforward. Very good with Goddess Skuld's Oracle, that you can basically get this to go off whenever you want. Graverobber! Oh, how fun is this card? So just remember, you basically just get to have a card and use it as if it is part of your hand. Because this card is so old, what it says is really confusing. Jelly Cannon! I fucking love this card. When a monster declares an attack, target one monster on the field, shuffle that card into the deck. It doesn't have to be that same monster. It doesn't have to be a monster that's face up either. Regeki Bottle, and yes, it does have to be the ultimate version. Extinction on Schedule. This is another one that is basically revolving around paying life points, and it's at the end of the 3rd battle phase after this card's activation. I would recommend that you have your opponent lose all of their cards and not you if you're going to use this. But it is one of the board wipes that we have, so one of the bombs. A Fiend Comedian is probably one of the most powerful card in the deck. The Match Jam. Then finally, 2 counters. I like the counter that it isn't a counter trap card. But, if you do it normally, then you can have the counter that is a counter trap card. Okay, so there's no extra deck for this particular build. However, with a few changes to it. You can basically teach people how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Using all the extra deck mechanics. And, you can add cards, change the ratios, test out the deck, add things, take things away. And also, hey, what other bad cards can be made to really fun and interesting decks? So, yeah, this is the end of the video. Yeah.